I kind of miss it. You're absolutely right, but I kind of miss the rawness of it, though. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And in a way, don't get me wrong. I love production, and it has its place, but you know, just to call a show raw, and then have such this huge production it kind of got they kind of got away from the whole point of what got them what they started the reason
Yeah,
they started the
even
show.
even even with SmackDown, they did too because
Yeah.
I loved how unique both Raw and SmackDown were back in the day
Yeah.
compared to now. New school, I'm sorry, but Raw and SmackDown, and this is like why I can't make reaction videos live during these shows, is because I can't sit through these shows because they don't feel the same like they did
No.
back in the day.
No.
Like the last good time we had with like Raw and SmackDown, in my opinion, was Ruthless Aggression
Yeah, absolutely.
because it still felt like a brand and it felt different. And I feel like now it feels just like one of those typical shows that, like, yes, you get at times you get great storylines, you
Of
get great
course.
matches, but when it comes to the show, the brand, it doesn't feel the same.
No.
AEW Dynamite, on the other hand, I could sit through 2 hours of that every Wednesday because
Oh,
of
and
the brand.
wanting more, and
Tony
want
Khan
more.
has done an amazing job branding AEW Dynamite,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's why I could sit there and it's more watchable in my opinion. Do
Yeah.
not get me wrong, WWE right now, storyline-wise, they are doing a lot better than AEW, but when it comes to the show presentation, which for me matters a lot, I gotta go AEW.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And that's something with old school wrestling that I really appreciate a lot is the presentation of the product. And I
Yep.
think, Manhattan was a really good presentation, but when we get into the Attitude Era, that's when Raw is War. That's when the presentation took it to a whole nother level, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
See, I still didn't mind the Raw is War because it was still wasn't as, you know, yes, it had they had the pyro and stuff, but it wasn't as it just wasn't they were still it still had that rawness to it, and there was still stuff
Oh,
that was
yes, it did.
unexpected, and, you
And
had
the
EX,
And
Stone
like the
Cold, I mean,
Titantron too, man.
yeah,
I
the
love the
Titantron was
entrance
awesome.
stage of the Attitude Era.
Me too.
I love Raw is War.
It was awesome.
And like that's the thing, like the presentation, that's what really drew viewers in and why WWE at that time was getting more viewership ever in their entire, company
Yeah.
was the Attitude Era because not only did you have all these iconic superstars like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, you also had the presentation. Raw is War,
Yeah.
Attitude Era. You knew you were going to get an amazing show from start to finish.
Absolutely.
And that is what every individual did, men and women did during that time, from
Now
start to
even though
finish. From
yeah,
the light heavyweights to the Godfather to Ken Shamrock to a great tag match with the Hardys, Dudleys, Edge, and Christian to the main events with The Rock, Stone Colds, and Triple H's.
absolutely. Even
And you get
though
Sexual Chocolate and Mae Young too. Can't forget that.
that's a
Show me
whole
those
nother episode.
puppies.
That's a whole nother episode. I
And
just want to see my puppies. Oh my god.
but I'm telling you, like that's the problem with new school Raw. There's no presentation to it. The only
No.
time I feel like there is a presentation to it, well, not the last couple years, but before, the pandemic, was the Raw after Manias.
Yes.
Which I will admit, those are some of my favorite Monday Night Raw
Yeah, of
episodes
course.
because of all the craziness that happened.
Right.
It felt raw.
And the go yeah, and the go home shows too.